All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Q&A. It is Christmas morning here on the East Coast of the United States. So Merry Christmas to all of you, or Happy Christmas, depending where you are, or just a Happy Thursday if you're in a place that doesn't really do Christmas too much. So how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're here. It's Christmas morning, and I have gathered a bunch of things that my family's going to be serving today for Christmas, and I had to run and grab them and then reheat them and get it all ready. But my mom and my aunt have been working on this, and I thought that I would share it with you today. Some really lovely Christmas treats that are a traditional part of the Filipino celebration of Christmas. So let's have a look at this. And we've got a variety of stuff here. We've got what's called bibingka, this big cake thing. And then we've got biko. This is biko. This is... Oh, wait a minute here. Do we have everything set up? Let me double check. So now we've got this here. We've got puto bonbon, this purpley stuff. And we have... Are we even running? Are we running? Hang on, let me double check on something. Oh my goodness. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I think that I've got it worked out. We are here. It's Christmas morning. I have forgot to change one of the settings in the stream setting this morning, so now we should be good to go. Welcome to the Coffee Q&A. It's Christmas morning here in the East Coast of the United States. Hope you're doing well. And yeah. So we've got some stuff here for you today that we normally use to celebrate Filipino Christmas. And let me show you this little spread that we have going here. We've got traditional, all these are traditional Filipino foods that are eaten on Christmas time. These are really the desserts, or I think they're desserts, which is really all that matters here. So up here, we've got something called bibingka. This is called biko. This is puto bonbon, kuchinta, and something called puto. Coffee Cove says, hello, did not think there would be a stream, a nice spread. I know I meant to have this stream. I actually had it all set up. And then when I started rolling, I was looking, this is the intro. This is the nice thing about this era of my YouTuberness is that typically if we're running a stream, then I know, especially on 10 o'clock in the morning, I know somebody's going to be tuning in. And when I don't see the numbers on the viewer changes, it just says 0. Like, oh, and then I must have made a mistake in the settings. So I had to run and go check and change it. But hello, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you, Maku. How are you doing? So we've got these desserts, and these are kind of like the super traditional. And one of my favorites, really, this bibinka, right? This is something that uh, my mom is from a rural province in the Philippines. So it's the one of the major rice growing regions of the Philippines, a place called Nueva Ecija. And in their town, when you go there Christmas night or Christmas Eve, or actually, really, it's supposed to be like early Christmas morning, like 4 a.m. You go out and you go to mass. We would actually go to midnight mass. It could be anytime, but then you normally will go out after mass. There's all these vendors outside, and a lot of them are selling this thing we call bibinka. And what this is a sweet rice mousse. This is a sweet rice cake, and as you can see, it has banana leaf. So it's wrapped in banana leaf, and then they put it over. They put it in a clay pot and they put it over a fire. So they like live fire these cakes, and then you add a little bit of sugar and cheese and this shredded coconut. And the really fancy ones, which this is, has salted eggs inside them. So we're gonna have some of that. But this is actually like my favorite. Like I love this. Like this is, and it's if you go to the Philippines, you talk to Filipinos. There's different types of bibinka. This is my favorite one, and this is one that you don't see this everywhere across the Philippines. Like this is kind of a special event kind of bibinka. So yeah, there's that. Mom's with us. Good morning to you. Happy holidays as well, Mom. Marcus says, "Dang, nice spread." Yeah, nice spread, isn't it? Nice spread. So we're gonna get into these, but let's make some coffee first. So I was thinking Filipino Christmas. Maybe we should make Filipino coffee. So I got some Filipino coffee here from my friend Z Perez, and what I don't have is a filter. I do have. Let me go grab a filter. We're gonna make some coffee here. We can make some coffee in all different ways today. So I'm curious to know how will all of you be spending your day today, or those of you who are in other parts of the world, how did you spend your day today? I know some people are in places where it's not necessarily a holiday. Of course, Christmas has always been well recognized because just the nature of the holiday here and across much of the world. But how did you spend your day? What did you do? Anything interesting happen? Mine is just starting out, of course. So, all right. So we got our coffee. We got our Cafec Abaca paper filter with the Cafec flower dripper. And we're going to use this coffee. This is a Robusta coffee, I believe. Natural process, maybe. Where is my little container? Huh. Well, there it is. I knew I had two of these. So we're going to see what this is all about. So this is a Robusta made from a farm in my father's family's province of Bataan. I don't know if you're familiar with Bataan. May sound familiar for those who know about World War II history. It is where they had the Death March. So there was a Death March back in the 40s. Now it's just a beautiful part of the country. So we've got this. These are Robusta beans. You can see the Robusta beans are relatively small comparatively to a lot of the Arabica. And what we're going to do is we're going to weigh it out. But first I have to reset some things because I'm really not set up for making brewed coffee at the moment. So let me get our O Gen 2. Hopefully the O Gen 2 will not crap out on us on Christmas morning. That would not be fun. And I think the last time we used this, we were here at the, what setting? We're at number 6. So I think we're going to go a little bit, I think it was too fast. No, too slow. So let's go to 2 clicks to coarse. Let me use that. Paige is with us. Merry Christmas to you, Paige, and anyone else that here who celebrates. Nice. Yes, absolutely. And Maku says, we're in the same time zone, so not much has happened here yet, but I have family coming over, and my espresso machine. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so gosh, I got all this stuff in the way here. Let me just move it all over. I'm going to need our scale. I should turn the water back on. Okay, now scale. I guess we're going to have to zoom out a little more because we were kind of tight on our space today. Going to be this. So we're going to use our normal ratio of 24 grams for our 12-ounce cup of coffee. There we go, 24. We'll make 24 straight up and put that into a grinder. It sounds kind of fluttery. How's that? Interesting aroma. I'm going to get this all set up here. I'm going to change our modes. We're going to change the modes to brew assist mode. Tear, right? Tear. Add our coffee. 24 grams. I know it's kind of hard to see that. It's so small now on the screen. And let me move our grinder out of the way. Okay, now we've got this all ready. Shake, shake, shake to make it even. Gonna grab the Bono kettle. This is our pouring kettle. We are boiling. We're gonna have a nice rolling boil. You know, it's moments like this when I'm used to having this kettle, which is a 7-liter kettle filled with water boiling. And I don't normally fill it a lot of times for the show, so it always feels so light to me now. It's like, I kind of wonder, like, am I going to run out of water? I don't know. All right, let's see if we can get a little more space, so at least we can get a little bit more of a tighter view. There we go. That's nice. All right, so we've got that all ready to go, and now we're going to hit this button, right? Yeah, okay, good. Now brew. Paige says, just made and had my morning latte. Awesome, awesome. And Maku would like to know, what beans are you using there, Paige? Actually, I have to go, speaking of Paige, I have to go down to kind of your neck of the woods next month. My friend is celebrating a big birthday. It's his 70th birthday. He's having a big bash. So I should be down in a Raleigh-Durham area mid-month, mid-January. So how's the gift? If those of you doing the gift giving, like, did you get good gifts? I went to a party at my cousin's house. We had our gift exchange, and I gave a big knife. I think I showed it to you guys, and that people really like that. And then I ended up with a Lecky trekking poles. Like one of my good friends, he gave trekking poles. And I've got trekking poles from like many years ago, but I was like, ooh, new trekking poles. I could probably use that. Actually, I should be using it. I should get out there and do some more hiking. My friend Matt does like a wood hike every day, or tries to do it every day for like 2 miles. I'm thinking I need to do something similar to that. Pat plans with us. What's going on? No special holiday here, so just worked as usual. We'll go camping this weekend, not glamping, but proper no toilet, no shower. Oh my, nice. Did you have KFC today? There's this creator that I follow on from Japan, a girl by the name of her handle on YouTube and the other like social media is What the Pato, because her name is Patricia O'Connor. She is a Chinese American girl. She's like 25 years old. But her father, I don't know how, but her mother's Chinese, her father's American, and she's lived in Japan all her life. I presume he's military. I don't know what he is. And she has these adventures, and so she was talking about how she was trying to get KFC for Christmas, but ended up having to go to all these different places to get it. It turns out that from what she was saying, I've been curious about this, that the Japanese are really into KFC for Christmas because evidently one of the managers many years ago started promoting it as an alternative to turkey for Americans in Japan. And so people, I guess, were just intrigued. Oh, we're way over. I'm not even paying attention anymore. It's terrible. And so it's, I hear it's super popular in Japan now on Christmas to have KFC. Maku says it might be a good time to go to the Cafe Jubala in North Hills in Raleigh for a Road Rules episode. I think that would be a very high possibility. Like I have to look at the schedule for what they're planning and when I'll actually be going down there, but I'm game. There's a couple places, that I'd like to go to. Like, one of my good friends, Scott Connery, owns a place called Coffee in Carborough, which is somewhere between Chapel Hill and Durham. But I think my friend who's having the party, I think he's closer to Raleigh. And then one of my really good friends, my childhood friend, she has a house in Durham. I'm not go call her to crash at her place. Save money on a hotel, That's the crazy thing, you're young and you think, one day I'm just gonna get all hotels. A year older, you're like, oh, maybe I wonder if I can still like crash at people's places. Like I like crashing at people's places. It's nice to hang out with friends and save money. All right, let's see here. So the Robusta, of course, is going to be a little bit rougher on the nose. Like that just has a little bit of roughness on the nose. Now this coffee is a little bit older. I got it when I was there. She gave it to me as a sample of what she was working on. So that's why if you notice, there was no blooming because it's a couple years old. But it's the only Philippine coffee that I have at the moment. So I was like, let's give it a try and see how it is. So let me grab our little cup here and we'll have a taste. So the brew clarity is really nice. Like it looks good. Oh, definitely like that natural, that kind of like naturally grapey, like light grapiness is still there. But now I did brew it heavier. Like it said 346 grams of water. I ended up pouring like 416. So, I could have brewed it better. So it is a little bit lighter in body, thinner. So that's part of the deal here. So let's have a look at our different foods that we're going to be trying. I'm going to be sharing with you today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this thing that we call puto bonbon. And puto bonbon, and I'm taking like glamour shots now because I did not have the chance to take glamour shots. The puto bonbon is so here's one thing. Everything that we see here, let me zoom back out so you can see it all. Everything that you see here is made of rice, right? Remember, so the Philippines, being a Southeast Asian country, Southeast Asia is a very hot and humid kind of world that is not conducive to wheat production, but it's very conducive to rice production. So Filipinos and most Asians eat rice all the time. Like, God knows, the first time I went to a friend's house when I was in elementary school as a sleepover, and we had dinner there, and his family, they were serving steak, and I remember sitting there at this table. I was thinking, cool, steak. Where's the rice? What kind of place is this? But so rice is a big thing, and so everything is made with rice because that's the only kind of grain we really have that's readily available. And So everything here has a rice variant of some sort. And so we've got, like I said, this is the puto bombong. Puto bombong is using rice flour, right? Rice flour with, it's purple. And so a little bit of water, and it's purple because we're using ube flavoring. Now, this is traditionally made with ube, right? And ube is the tuber. You may have heard about it. It's become very popular in mainstream cuisine over the past like 10 years. And it is a tuber from the Philippines that is endemic to the Philippines. It's really only there. The crazy thing is that as ube demand has exploded in the culinary scene, the actual demand for ube, the tuber, has decreased. And you may be wondering, well, how is that possible? Well, because everybody's using flavoring. Like this is actually made with ube flavoring, made by McCormick. So artificially flavored flavorings that are used with colorant to make this color instead of actually using the real shredded ube, which is a shame. It's a shame. You would think, that especially like now in modern times with, modern chefs, especially here in America, that are trying to be authentic, they would want to have the true flavor, but they don't. They still all use this flavor. But we're not here to debate that. We're really here just to enjoy the puto bombong. Now, the puto bombong, why is it called puto bombong? Puto bombong means, I don't even know how they got the puto. So we've got two different types of puto. Now, those of you who may be speaking Spanish, this is puto, not puto, right? Like if you were to go to a friend and be like, hey man, I have some puto. You're like, what? Puto is also different than puta, right? So you have to keep that in mind. So don't, and be careful if you're speaking, like if you're saying, hey, I like to eat puto. You're like, what? You see that to a guy that's from Mexico or some Spanish-speaking country, they'll be like, what are you eating? And what did you call me? They get puto as a term in Spanish is rather offensive to a man. So you don't really want to be like, hey, puto. That generally is not accepted terminology to be used. So be careful with that. But Filipinos, you say, oh, I like puto. Yeah, I like puto too. Right? You say, oh, okay. So puto is this. There's several different variants. This is actually my favorite variant, but this is the one we're going to start off with because what this is, like I said, the rice flour, a little bit of water, a little bit of sugar. You kind of mix it up with the ube flavoring, and then you put it into a steamer with bamboo leaf. Now, why is it called puto bombong? Bombong means like bamboo. So originally these were, you would take the bamboo, the green bamboo, you'd cut it down, you'd slice it in half, and you'd put the puto inside the little cavity, and then you'd steam it in that. So puto bombong means puto in bamboo. So now to serve it, we use a little bit of brown sugar, some shredded coconut, and a little bit of cheese. In the Philippines, there's a particular type of cheese that's used that's kind of hard to get here in the United States. The closest thing to the cheese that's used in the Philippines, and it's just called queso puti, white cheese, which is different than queso blanco. Right? So queso blanco is completely different. Queso puti is actually closer in flavor and texture to Dutch Edam cheese, right? So if you're familiar with Edam cheese, then you're familiar with kind of what queso puti is all about. And so while we normally would use queso puti in the Philippines, here it's hard to get. So this is just shredded cheddar, right? And before you serve it, what you do is after it comes out of the steamer, you brush it with a little bit of melted butter, then you add the sugar, then the shredded coconut, and then the cheese. And all like these are best served hot. And of course, we've been babbling on for the last half hour, so it's not going to be that hot, which is, did I not bring a fork? I thought I brought a fork down here. I guess I didn't. I even pulled a fork separately for this purpose. Pockets, no. Well, we're just going to have to go with the knife and get into it. So let's, okay, let me just move this. It's a little bit harder to see if I don't move you around. Prettier background. That's a prettier background, right? There we go. So here it is. The puto bumbong. So I'm just going to cut it. Now you can use your hands. Like this is the Filipinos love to use their hands to eat. If you're Indian, you would not be eating like I am, right? Because true Indians do not eat with their left hand. Oh. So like a lot of like steamed rice things, it has that chewy texture, like a mochi texture, right? Gelatinous, chewy, which Asian people seem to really love. American people don't seem to like it as much. Ooh, that's good. A little bit of ube flavor. A good chew, like it is. That is very nice. Like it would be better if I ate it the moment that we prepared it, but this is not bad. So there it is. Oh, Mamma mia. It's good to have with coffee. You know, since I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time in the Philippines, I was thinking, what do they eat on Christmas morning with this? Is it coffee? Maybe it's coffee. But typically, Filipinos are not drinking nice coffee like this. They're drinking something called 3-in-1. 3-in-1 coffee is basically instant coffee with sugar and artificial cream powder all mixed in, and you just kind of put it in. I remember drinking it many years ago, and it was kind of pleasant, but, you know. Now, the next thing we're going to do is something called kuchinta. This is kuchinta. And kuchinta is, again, with this has a rice flour with tapioca flour. The brown color comes from use of achiote, which is a colorant, a little bit of sugar. And then it's put into these little cups. My aunt was like buying these special cups, these special molds. She was all excited about it. Several months ago, she's like, I ordered these molds so I can make proper kuchinta. I was like, excellent. Because a lot of times you use like cupcake molds and they're a little bit big, right? Then you have these huge kuchinta when you only need a little bite. You only want a little bite. And okay, so time for another glamour shot. Perfect. Now, kuchintas are nice to eat because they're small. And they're going to have a different flavor. And they have a little bit of a different texture. Where this has a very chew texture, this I don't think has as much chew. Let's get a little bit closer look at it. You can see it here. Maku says, I should send this puto clip to my very religious Puerto Rican mom. Your mom's not going to like me very much. She'll be like, who is that guy you're listening to? He's like talking puto all the time. That's not so nice. You should not listen to him. It's like, that's probably good advice. You shouldn't listen to me. You shouldn't listen to me. Russell's here. What's up, Russell? Okay, Merry Christmas to you. And Kent, Merry Christmas as well. Maka says, I saw that. Jubala, okay. Power Plant says, I mentioned you have to reserve it well in advance in another stream. Yes. But if you go to the right place, you get it. A lot of people just get karaage. Nice. But it's fun to camp here. If you find a willing companion, it can be real. Like that. Power Plant says, there are still some places in Singapore that do the same steaming and bamboo thing. They have it in Malaysia and Indonesia as well. Oh, nice. Yeah, we don't have bamboo here in America. At least we don't have it in my family. So I'm sure my aunt really could if she could get fresh bamboo, she probably would be doing it. She's a little bit crazy like that. All right, so here it is, our kuchinta. This is what's on the original thumbnail for this episode. And the nice thing, you just take the whole thing in. Now, the thing about kuchinta to me is, to be honest with you, kuchinta is not my favorite. And while I do like it has a gummier texture, it's got a nice flavor, but the one thing that I think is kind of strange about it is that to my palate, it kind of has eggy character, like a custardy, eggy, like character, like if you're trying to make a creme anglaise and you hit it too, and you hit it too hard with the heat, and the egg starts to cook. It's kind of got that flavor, but there's no eggs in it, which is why I'm like always kind of weirded out by it. But it's like, but it's fine. Like if it's there, I will eat it. Like I'm not complaining. Like I kind of want to eat the other one at the moment, and I'm holding back because we've got so much more to eat here. But that's something. So if you go to these Filipino bakeries, or if you have friends that are Filipino, you go to their house. Hopefully if they're like me and they don't know how to make these things, hopefully they have a mom and aunts that are still around that can make them for you and you can try them. So the next thing we're going to try is this thing called biko. Biko, put that over here, again with more glamour shots. Now again, biko is a rice type of dish that uses rice, brown sugar, and coconut milk. And all these are kind of variants on it. There's always usually coconut milk, there's always sugar, there's always rice, and it's always like cooked somehow. That this is baked, not steamed. And you can see here, you can see the kernels, the grains, right? The grains are much more pronounced because it's sweet rice that has been cooked in a rice cooker and then mixed with the stuff, the sugar and the coconut milk, and then baked to get this texture. And then on top of here, this crumb-looking thing is what's called latik. Latik is made by basically taking coconut milk. You take coconut milk and you put it into a saucepan and you heat it. So if you're familiar with how to make brown butter, it's essentially the same thing, but instead of using butter to make brown butter, you're using coconut milk to make latik. So at some point, the solids will separate from the oil, and then you brown the solids, and then once you brown them, you just put them on top, and it's got this nutty, beautiful, it's a beautiful flavor. Like it doesn't look so nice here because the latik it's getting cold now because it's been sitting around for like an hour. But man, I love it. Like I just want to put more and more and more. It's the nutty, it's kind of the coconutiness. If you don't like coconut, this is kind of removed from that coconutty flavor that you may not like. So worth trying. So we're going to take this. You can see here, latik with the biko. And then we're going to now grab it because I don't have a fork. I think this is actually 2 pieces because there's a big tray of this upstairs. So this one doesn't have as gummy. It's kind of more of a resistive, thicker, meatier texture. Meatier is, I don't know if meatier, like meaty, not meatier. I think it's better if it's hotter. And it's sweeter. I would like to have more sweetness. But here, see, you can see here, because it's kind of chilly. See right there? That's the coconut oil solidified. That's the problem with coconut. Coconut oil doesn't stay liquidy through a lot of temperature. Like once it gets a little bit chilled, it starts to harden. So that diminishes the enjoyment of it. Like you want your latik to be very warm so that it's all like glistening. Like, let the solidification happen in your arteries. It's better not on your palate. Right, so that's the biko. I mean, that's the biko. Now, Marco, this is the part you should send to your mom. Because now we're going to eat puto. Right? So this is when I think of puto, this is what I think about. This to me is puto. And now I've dressed it up a little bit with the coconut, shredded coconut. If you put a tray of this in front of me, I will tear this up. Like I will eat this. I'll eat the tray. And I don't need the coconut. Actually, to me personally, because the way that I grew up eating this, like to me, the coconut's kind of detracting from it. Like you're adding interference to what I want, right? Like maybe a little butter, maybe some cheese is fine. The coconut is fine too, but I will tear into this by itself. And so what this is just regular like rice flour, again with, does it have, I think it had coconut milk. I think it's coconut milk and sugar and water. No, there's no coconut milk, just sugar and water, I think. And you bake it or steam it, man. It is just, I love it. Like I love it, and you can buy it you can buy it as a box set, meaning that like if you go to a Filipino market, they sell box sets of puto. It says puto on the box. Actually, you might want to go there and buy a box just to have around your house and maybe give to your mom and give to your Puerto Rican friends. Be like, oh, I bought you some puto. Puto. You can only say that with like your really, really close friends that really love you and really like you. Like you can't say that to the guy in the street, but like, hey, you man, Mr. Puerto Riqueño, I like you, puto. Like that's not a good thing to say. Don't say that. Don't do those things. Don't do those things. That's if you want to be on YouTube and making those kind of videos. But let me actually get another glamour shot here. I should put it down. So the puto is like this. So you just kind of take it, and it's super simple. Like this is the box mix, right? So it's got a predetermined flavor. And I can see here, this is a more of a cakey texture. Actually, it's a little bit, I prefer the loft to be better. I want it to be loftier. It's a little bit too on the dense side. But if you go to bakeries that make this, Filipino bakeries, or the box sets, they even have them. They'll come in different colors. Like they'll come like yellow, red, purple. I think the purple one definitely tastes like ube. The other ones have other colors. This is just kind of plain sweet rice flavor, which I'm all about. Oh, that's good. See, if you give it to me, I will house it. I should not have got rid of that. Finally, the one that is the maybe kind of the pièce de résistance is the bibingka. Right? Now, this is a very large size bibingka designed for family Christmas. A lot of times you'll get them in this style of bibingka. You'll get it like smaller, about this big. Of a serving, so it's really kind of one or two people. Get more glamour shots. And what sort of tell you about this? This is the bibingka, and bibingka is again rice flour, sugar. I think this is coconut milk, baked over fire, typically baked over fire, but in this, it has banana leaf wrapped around it. So banana leaf baked. This is baked in an oven, so it's got, but I guess high temperature because they kind of got that color. I like the color. I like it when it like gets a little bit like this, right? So now we're gonna cut into this sucker and get us a little slice out of it. My nephews will be rather upset that when they arrive later today, the bibingka will be partially eaten. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's get this in here. I'm going to keep some of that. I guess I can't keep some of the banana leaf. Anyway, the banana leaf is part of the pleasure of the bibingka. Really, I want to cut out a huge hunk of this, but then that would be too much. So here it is. Here's a little bit of slice for us to utilize. Look at the texture. Good God, that looks nice. Oh my gosh. I think it's time for another glamour photo. Oh my gosh. And, while you would never do this in polite society or just anyway, but I'm just going to, oh, that's very good. So, and here's the thing, like most of the desserts from Asia that we talk about, it's lightly sweet. There's a balance between this, but so if you look at the cream, it has somewhat of a cake-like crumb, right? But it's not really a batter that goes to make it. But there is a lot of resilience to it, more than would be like a typical like Western style like cake. So there's some resilience. Plus the flavor is relatively mild as far as sweetness. Buttery. There's a lot of butter made in this. That way it's very buttery. So because we're doing a live stream, and because we're just talking about this, and I'm showing you like beautiful Filipino desserts. And because this is a form of entertainment, I can eat this in a way that I would not normally be able to eat this like in regular, like if I'm with the family or with friends, like you're not going to sit there and you're going to want to have a fork. You're going to want to take a little bit. You're going to want to look polite. That coffee actually goes very well. Thank you, Maku. Is the station? I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, look there. See, here's a piece that has been caught up with the banana leaf. That's nice, because it's right up against the banana. So there's a little bit of that like organicness from the leaf with the buttery and the sweetness. It's really interesting. Lovely. So those of you who do the Christmas gift thing, like, do you have a lot of gifts? I try to discourage people from giving me gifts because, I don't really need anything. And what I would like to have is probably more than people would be willing to spend. Right? Like, what would I like to have? Like, let's say if I wanted to have an espresso machine, like a Case Vander Weston. Very few people would be willing to spend $20,000 to give as a gift. So like when we were doing this gift exchange last weekend, we're giving gifts. I gave mine. It's one of those like, white elephant kind of things. And I would have been perfectly happy if I didn't have a gift to take home with me. I was like, all right. Yeah, good. I'm happy to give a gift. I don't necessarily need to have one to take. See, I want to drink out of this. Oh, wow. There it is. So that's a little bit of a taste of Filipino desserts. We have the bibingka, right? Let's just to recap. We have the bibingka, traditional bibingka that you would have in the Noche Buena, which is the night of feasting after the Christmas Mass. They'll typically serve this from vendors on the street, or you go to someone's home. So do you go to the Noche Buena thing, right? You go to the Mass, and then after Mass, you'll go to people's homes in the small towns or in your neighborhood, and people will welcome you and they'll feed you and they'll have ham and cheese, that whole queso pote, that Edam style cheese. They'll have these type of baked goods, and you just kind of sit around and talk and enjoy for the Christmas time. And so, like, bibinka is one of those. The puto, which is now gone, this puto is gone because, I like it that much. There's biko, right? This is the leftover biko. And then, of course, kuchinta. This is the kuchinta. And then finally, there is the puto bombong, which is kind of elongated. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to have another one of those. Russell says the Spiritello by Kees van der Westen would fit under the... I agree. Although, I was thinking about it, and I haven't actually looked at the website to see, or I haven't called Kees to ask him, but I presume that if you wanted to have a Spiritello, it would take like a couple months to make. The other downside for the KVD stuff here in the United States is that there used to be an importer, but I don't know how well they're able to provide support. Like, that's one thing, if you're buying an espresso machine that you should, especially if you're a professional and using it in a professional product, you should consider is what kind of service do you have in your area, right? So when I started in the business, there was nobody really. I mean, there's a couple of people selling espresso machines, Nova Sivinelli, I don't know, more La Cimbali, but no one really. And I was a convert to La Marzocco, so nobody worked on La Marzoccos. Nobody even knew what they were here. 25 years later, there's very few people in the Baltimore area, Maryland, DC, Virginia area that I would ever trust with my La Marzocco. There's some shady characters here that are calling themselves coffee techs. But that's one thing I think that if you're going to buy a machine, you should consider, this is what I tell clients and people that ask me, is like, what kind of machine should I buy? Should I buy La Marzocco? So, well, before you should buy, I say, yes, you should buy La Marzocco. I have no reservations with La Marzocco, but you should also make sure that you have technicians in your area that can come and work on your machine if you don't know how to work on it. Like, I went the route where I had to learn how to rebuild machines. So I've rebuilt like several La Marzoccos. So I really understand how the older generation of machines work, but not everyone can do that. And not everybody's crazy enough to take that on. So if you're going to buy a machine, always look for what kind of service network they have. And, KVD is a great company, and they're very supportive. Like, my friends who have KVD machines, they do have a lot of support from the company, but it does take a little bit longer. If they have to get a part from the Netherlands, it's going to take a little bit of time to get there. So that's something you kind of have to balance. And so one of my good friends, he keeps quite a few parts for his. He's got one of my favorite ones, which is now I can't think of the name, but it's this really cool looking version. It's a commercial machine. And when he got it, I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. But he does have to keep quite a bit of parts on hand in case there is an issue. Now, that's being said, if you do your own machine work, like I've got enough parts to fully rebuild even a 4-group La Marzocco Linea at the moment. So you just kind of have to have that on hand just in case there's a failure and you need to turn around right away. Power Plant says, I usually just give out souvenirs. Nice. And my neighbor comes to the Filipino village where it gets super cold and they have some hot springs. Oh, they bring the butter cake for Friendsgiving. Oh man, the butter cake would be great to have. Naomi, Merry Christmas to you. How are you doing? Oh yeah, butter cake. The butter mochi, like from Hawaii. Oh man, I can tear that up too. And these are all very similar to these other items. So yeah, I think if you could find yourself a Filipino bakery wherever you are, I think you could give a lot of these, nice traditional bakery will have a lot of these products. Even Filipino markets will have some of these things. And some of them will even sell different mixes so you can make them at home. So you can, if you're interested, want to give them a try. But man, Naomi, I know you just arrived and I'm sorry, but it's time to go because I have to get more stuff ready before family comes for Christmas. So Merry Christmas and a happy holidays to all of you. Thank you very much for hanging out with me on the regular. It's very much appreciated. I'm very honored by that. And yeah, back again tomorrow with another episode of the Coffee Q&A. So I forgot what's on the agenda for tomorrow, but I'll look it up a little bit later. So I hope you have a wonderful day out there. And Power Plant, if you decide to go camping tomorrow, we don't get to see you. Well, have a great time. Be careful. Don't get eaten by bears. Bring a gun? I don't know. Have a great one. Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy holidays. And see you next time.